All right, guys, it's story time again. I got a quick one for you. This takes place in my early 20s. I hadn't quite gotten into hard drugs yet. I was just drinking a lot, and basically, after work on Friday during these times, I would start drinking. I wouldn't stop. I'd drink right through the weekend until Sunday night. I'd taper down and just try to even out so I could be a human being on Monday morning and go to work. And it was always a struggle just to not be too hungover every Monday. I remember I dreaded Mondays. It was just week after week, and this went on for a long time too. But well, anyways, so it's Friday night, and me and two of my friends had found the party that evening. We would find out who had the biggest party, and we'd either go crash it or we're friends with them. And at this point in time, we found the party way out in the woods at somebody's house who we never met. So me and my two friends drive out there. We're having a good time. We're drinking. There's a ton of people there. We're playing beer pong, just flip cup, things like that. And this is a multi-level house. And at some point during the night, I had to pee, and the bathroom was preoccupied. There's a line anyways. I was just not happy, and I really had to go. We'd been drinking quite a lot, and in this house there was also a staircase that went down to a dirt floor basement, and it was all open up. It was like there's calling me down there, but it's pitch black down there. For whatever reason, I don't remember the circumstances, but I couldn't go outside. That wasn't an option either. I don't know if there's just no good places or there's people out there. That wasn't an option. So I go down these stairs, and like I said, it's pitch black. I go in a ways and I start peeing, and all of a sudden this lighter flicks in front of me and illuminates a face, and I could see there's a bunch of people. There had to be 10 people down there around in this little semicircle, and they're smoking weed down there, and I didn't even notice that anyone was down there. So I'm like, oh, they just see me pee on the floor down here, and they're like, what are you doing down here? And I'm like, well, I was just exploring, and I turned around without really a whole lot to say or any defense, and turn around, go back upstairs, immediately find my friends, and just try to get away from that situation. And I'm like, all right, it's cool. They probably didn't even really get a good look at me or know who I was. But sure as shit, a few minutes later, this group of guys approaches me and my friends, and they're like, look, you gotta go. You and your buddies have got to go now. They're like, why were you down in the basement? I don't know if they thought I was down there stealing stuff or what they didn't know, but I'm assuming that that's probably what they thought. And I didn't want a cop to peeing all floor down there either, so I'm just like, look guys, let's just go, get out of here. It was clear that they wanted us gone as quickly as possible. So we leave, and we're driving down the road. My two friends are super pissed at me at this point in time. Like, I ruined the night for them. It was a little before midnight, I guess. We'd party clear through the night on a Friday night, and I basically just ruined their evening for them. So they're mad at me, and at some point my buddy pulls over. He's got to take a leak, and we all get out of the truck, and the argument just kind of escalates from there. And at one point I push my friend, and he falls over. I pushed him pretty hard, and he gets up and he takes a swing at me, and I immediately realized, like, look, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight this guy. I don't know what I was thinking. I was drunk. It is what it is. But he's not having it. He's pissed. We continue to argue. Finally, he decides he's going to leave me there. Him and my other friend get in the truck, and they drive off. And I'm in the middle of nowhere. I don't know where that house was, how we got there. I may as well be on Mars. It's late. It's dark. We're on this dirt road. And I stand there for a minute and decide to finally start walking, and I started walking in the direction they took off at, and I bet I walked for at least an hour that night. No cars drove by, nobody came, and finally I see these headlights coming up the road, and it's my friend's truck. I realized he'd come back. So I'm like, oh, thank God. And he lets me in the truck. He's not saying anything at this point in time. I don't know why. To this day, I don't know why he came back. Whether it was guilt or I really just don't know. But he's still mad. I guess he just decided he wasn't that mad. So we're driving in silence for a while, and finally we get on a main road, and I hear sirens, and the blue lights light up behind us, and it's the police, obviously. I don't know who else it would be, but it's the police. And they pull my buddy over and get him out of course, he's drunk, you know, they're making him do the classic DUI stuff, and I'm just kind of sitting there. They arrest him, and the cop approaches my window, and he's like, look, he suspects I've been drinking too, which I had, but several hours had passed since my last drink, and I'd sobered up considerably. He's like, look, if you blow in the breathalyzer and you blow under, you can take your buddy's truck and get out of here. And I did. And I blew just barely under the limit. You know, even after all that time, I still had some alcohol in my system. But so I take his truck and drive back to his place, and I think I stayed the night there. My buddy gets out of jail. He didn't ask me to come pick him up. He got his girlfriend or somebody to get him, and he's still mad from the night before about everything that happened, but now on top of that, he's blaming the DUI on me too. It's my fault. He never would have got the DUI if it wasn't for me. And he's probably right. He probably wouldn't have gotten the DUI. He probably would have been home and everything would have been good. But so that friendship just sort of ended after that. I never really spoke with him again. You know, I'd made several attempts to reach out to him and bury the hatchet, but it just never happened. To this day, he still doesn't talk to me. You know, I apologized up and down. He's one of those people that just, he'll hold a grudge, and he'll build a case about all these little things that you've done over the years. Just put together this whole case of evidence that I'm a bad person. I didn't need any evidence to prove I was a bad person. I was a bad person. I hadn't quite made the transition to drugs yet, but I continued to be a shitty person until I got into the harder drugs, and then it was downhill spiral from there. Sort of a bottomless pit of bullshit. So that's I don't really have a conclusion to this story. It's just kind of one of the things I was thinking about today. Probably not the best story, but that's what happened. And yeah, it was karma. I don't know if it was his karma or coming back to him, or karma coming back to me. You know, we were kind of both in a bad situation that night, and those were the consequences. But yeah, we went from being best friends to not even speaking anymore, and it was that night, was the last night I think I ever even saw him. I don't think I ever even saw this guy again after that. We lived in the same town, this small town. So yeah, it was pretty crazy how I never saw him again after that. But all right, guys, that's pretty much it. Thanks.